What is up, my friends? Jesse with Just Man Sports Cards. Gonna run through 200 cards that I'm gonna send off to COMC, all graded. Thought I'd show my face and some other collectibles. I do collect a little vinyl, and the girlfriend collects vintage cameras. So we'll flip the camera around and get started. So here's the roughly 200 cards. It's probably gonna be more than, I'm guessing it's like 220. I put them in these boxes, and we'll run through the cards.
Okay, we'll go through these pretty quickly. I won't spend much time on the cards. I'll mainly talk about what I'm doing and what why I'm doing it. That's an Adrian Dantley rookie card. Most of these cards are some of these are sub $20, their value. Most of them are in the $25 range. And basically on COMC, and I'll run through it at the end of the video, you can send in on like the bulk level. It's basically 50 cent a card, and then it's another 50 cent for graded cards. It takes them 16 weeks to process it, so it's quite a while. But these are all like cards that I'm not really worried about going much more down in value. I think with time they'll go up, so I'm not too worried about the 16 weeks at all. I mean, like, if a $20 card goes down by $2 more, and what's the worry? And then the other thing is, COMC people, I think you have a slightly bigger market than eBay because there's a little more international buyers on there, which I think is a plus. And then if you haven't used COMC, whatever you want to call it before, you can basically just buy cards and they hold on to them for as long as you want. And then if you ever want to like ship them to your house, they do combined shipping. So $5 shipping, $6 shipping on a $20 card, that it's like what, an extra 30% cost. So I think my odds of selling these is gonna go up on COMC. I did it by year, so we'll gradually increase by year, and then the second box I kind of did by year too. The other reason I'm doing this video, and you'll see, is they don't make you list. They just ask how many cards you're sending in, and then they don't really make you list what cards you're sending. So to me, that's a downside of the whole process. Is I really feel like you should enter all the cards in that you're sending, and then there should be some sort of checklist against that when they check them in. This is one thing I don't like about the process. If anyone at COMC is listening, it's just, I don't know. I think some people like it because for loose cards and stuff, it just saves them the time and then they trust the process. I'm not quite there. So, with all that being said, making this video is a way for me, instead of actually writing down all the cards, is essentially I'm video recording what I'm sending in. I have a record. The other thing to think about too, like with doing this, is I'm gonna put another dollar into the cards because it's gonna be 50 cents plus the 50-cent handling fees. And then I'm trying to send off a fair number just so that my shipping cost per card is pretty low. So my guess, all said and done, is I'll be into these for another $1.10. A lot of these cards I graded myself. All the pennies I graded myself, and this is really when I got back in the hobby 3+ years ago. I was wrong about some things, and that's okay. I think it's like with anything, is you learn from it. You take your dings and you keep moving. Thankfully, I have a steady job where I don't need to fire sell these really to have the income and come in. I thought I'd do a lot better on these, of course. If you watch my PSA reveals, I forget the 10 rate was like 15% or something like that, something crazy. 90 cards, they can be tough to grade. I did eventually sell all the 10s of the pennies of that Stadium Club for 80 to 120 bucks. The other thought process that I've had, and people talk about consolidating, and I don't know about consolidating, and I get it, is like when I first got in the hobby, like the idea of spending 50 bucks on a card was really tough to get past mentally. And then just even buying Jordan stuff initially, like raw cards, was tough because it's like I could buy 5 Shaqs, and then I would buy 5 Shaqs, and I was like, oh man, if I would have just waited and saved, I could have bought a nice Jordan. These are hard to 10. They should be worth more than they are, but Mr. Market determines that. These are a cool insert. So if you disagree with me on anything, like let me know down in the comments. It's part of the reason I'm doing this video is to have conversation about these topics. And I have had some sales on COMC that are higher than what I would anticipate. And I really think that has to do to international buyers. So yeah, I was getting around to it eventually. I still believe in these cards. They're all Hall of Famers. I mean, Penny Hardaway is not a Hall of Famer, but the majority of these cards are all Hall of Famers. So there's no big rush. But that being said, the space at my house, I don't live in a huge house, is kind of vital. Vital is probably the wrong word. I think I'm pretty well organized. I mean, if I was to show you how I organize everything, it's by year, it's by player. When I take my stuff to the card shows, a couple times I've set up, people are pretty amazed at like how quickly I can find stuff that I have there. But this gets 200 plus cards out of the house, and that's helping it organize because I've had to go through a lot of cards to select these 200 cards that I'm going to send off. So even the process itself has helped me get more organized, which I think is always a plus. The other thing that I have to be considerate of is I sent 110 Star Wars cards off. Those are in assembly, so those will probably be back in 3-4 weeks at this point, I'm guessing. So then I'll have 110 more cards here that I need to store. Hopefully some of those sales will go quick. Some of those will be PC cards, but not all of them will be. Then I have 50 more Star Wars cards already entered, ready to ship off. I'll ship those off. Those will be in the mail on Monday. So then those will be headed back here. The video before this one I showed, I didn't even count how many that was. It's probably 60 cards more headed off. But those are all going to the vault, that last video. So those won't be coming back to my house. But then I'm working on another order, and it'll probably be the video after this video. And those, it's probably going to be 30, 40 more cards I'm going to send off, and those will come back. And I'll explain why those are coming back instead of going to the vault on that video. So yeah, those are like my main thoughts on what I was doing here. Also, I typically always link it in the videos. I do have an eBay store. If you ever want to like go through it, and like I can work out a better deal through Instagram. If you want to hit me up on Instagram, I can typically do at least 10% better. I have it's like I can avoid the eBay fees. Even if you want to do like goods and services, I can still do it cheaper than eBay. And I'm trying to think. I think I would always recommend doing goods and services. Through all the stuff I've done off eBay, I've probably done like where you're shipping the card and all that type of stuff. I've only been burnt like twice out of probably 30 times, but that's close to 10%. And I think I wish I would have just done goods and services on all the interactions, just because you feel bummed when you get burnt. I could have done some other stuff not to get burnt. This is a cool rookie PSA 10. Yeah, and this is like, I graded this. It's just, I wouldn't send this in again. The cool card, just the collectability on it isn't huge. So that's the first box. Let me grab the second box. So some of this stuff is well above 20 bucks or 25 bucks. This is easily a $50, $80 card. And some of this is like an experiment as to see what kind of moves on there and what doesn't. It's a lot easier to kind of tweak prices on there too than I find eBay. For whatever reason, the eBay app is a little easier to use for me than the website. But then it's harder to do like bulk functions on the app. These are being a little sticky, so it's slowing me up a little bit. Not like sticky, but they just get like receded into each other. And some of these I'm gonna have to just admit I'm gonna have to take an L on. I'm just not willing to take an auction L on them. This is probably go for 99 cents, $2, $3. I think if I'm patient, I can probably get 10 or something like that for it. And that's kind of where I'm at. Is I think I'm okay taking an L on some of these. L. I don't know if that's the right term, but essentially move the money into something else, but lose a little bit, but then move it. I guess accept the sunk cost. Jordan PSAs 8s and 9s, those were always hold values, but some of these I have multiples of. I've opened Stadium Club on the channel, so it's crazy. Like pack fresh, and these are extremely hard to grade. And that's the hard thing, is if people haven't actually like opened these packs and graded them themselves, it's hard for them to understand. Like this is the card I would never grade again, but I opened the Skybox. So it was at the time that the hobby was going crazy and you could sell anything. And Demon stay at Meyer. He coached in Stockton, which is like 20 minutes from me. UOP. He's moved on to. He's done pretty well as a coach and kind of moved up. So some of these cards I'm flipping through are not necessarily the ones I've just shown, but there are some $30 and $40 ones. Did I show that one? The electric court. So like I said, I'll go through the COMC portal at the end of the video, kind of show you what's going on there. I don't really talk about like modern, not modern, but like recent event, like hobby news. It's not really my channel. It's more about like what I'm collecting and why I'm collecting it. But there was just a lot of hobby news about PWCC and what was going to happen there, and there's a lot of talk that there's a lot of card trimmers that work there, and I'm not a really big fan that. I mean, if you've done something wrong, everyone should have a second chance. But I don't know that you should have a second chance in the industry that you essentially did the crime in. So I tried to research that heavier, and then because I have a decent amount of cards there, I have some bigger Jordans that I definitely wouldn't. I don't want to go without. But then like some of the lower end stuff there, I was like, how do I get that out of there? So then I started thinking about it, and I was like, man, it'd be awesome if I could just send them from PWCC to COMC or to Golden. Like if you were concerned about a certain auction house, it'd be nice. So I think that's like that thought process has, if I think through it as like a pros and a cons for each auction house, is like the easier you make it, then the easier it is to potentially get the cards out of your facility. And I think a lot of these places want the cards to stay there. Because a lot of the cards that are bought on COMC, I think, stay at COMC. I keep a decent line there. And then if you resell them, they don't charge you much. It's like 50 cents or something silly like that. Um, this is one of my favorite Garnett rookie inserts. I did buy a PSA 9 of the High Hopes. I was never able to grade one myself, so I bought the bullet 2-3 weeks ago and just paid up and bought it. There's only 2 of them on eBay, so there's probably only one on eBay now of the High Hopes PSA 9. Let me grab some more cards. But yeah, that being said, there's no way to ship your cards from PWCC to COMC because you essentially have to put the paperwork in with the shipment. So I'd be interested if COMC could figure that out or Golden could figure that out, and then you just make a list of what you're sending over because PWCC will let you ship your cards wherever you want to ship them. Some people sell cards off there on eBay, and then Flair, I always feel like it's an underrated rookie card. But I've been buying some big Duncan cards, so I need to let some of these go. Pierce, the Black Diamond for Pierce and Dirk. There's a numbered version of it in the double and triple, but much more beautiful card than the Topps base. With the Topps has a like maroon. I still have some copies of this, and I have some refractors too of the Topps Chrome, so that's why I'm willing to move off some of this. We're more than halfway through the second box to give you guys an idea of where we're at in the video. Yeah, I'd much rather have this than the Topps, but so is the. I haven't picked up much Dirk recently. I haven't picked up much stuff recently just because I'm going on vacation soon and just trying to deal with the mail pieces. It's easier if the less mail that's coming in while I'm gone for a multitude of reasons. It's weird like how they stick like that. I guess it's just the nature of the beast. So what's your thoughts on what I'm doing? Crazy? Not crazy? Should I just bulk sell them? What would you do? What would you do? I'd be curious because I've tried to think about what to do here. I've talked about these. This is the O version, only distributed around the Florida area. They're pretty rare. 10s are still fairly cheap of them. By cheap, I mean like 100, 125 bucks. Shack. Need a little more space here. So if you're liking my content and you haven't subscribed yet, I definitely appreciate the subscribe. Still trying to get to 1,000 subs. That would greatly help the channel and just help me put a little more time into the channel. I've been trying to crank out more consistent content to help the algorithm help me. But sometimes I do that and it's like I see zero results. I play around with different videos. I haven't found something that's really taken the channel to the next level. But that's just, I guess, part of the grind and part of the process. Last stack. So this is like a $15 Griffey card. So it's like, why would someone's not going to pay another? It stings to pay another $5 with shipping, because then you're really changing the price of the card. Kobe Gold, these are always hard on the back. Juju, just letting this go. I do collect Chiefs players, but he's moved on from the Chiefs, or the Chiefs have moved on from him. However you want to view that. You will see in my next video who I don't know if prospecting is the right word, because he's a fifth year player now. Larry, his hobby is okay. Matt Ryan, this is out of $9.99 rookie card. I still have some Matt Ryan autos. I think he's a good dude. I don't have a whole lot of SGC, but Drew Brees patch. Like 3 more cards. Last card here. And I'll jump over to the COMC page.
Okay, we're on the COMC website. I've came over to this mission wizard. I already jumped a couple pages so that we're not wasting any time. They basically have 2 levels. The difference in the 2 levels is if the card's is it worth more than $50 or is it worth less than $50? Everything I was sending in minus like 2 to 4 cards, and everything that I showed you is worth more than $50. You really don't have to worry about anything unless they note it is worth more than 100. So all good there. Select, it's basically just how fast you want it done. $1 per item, 2 weeks. I'm not in a rush. I don't think the prices on these cards are going to change anytime soon. I think they might go up the longer that I wait, is my guess. But I'm hoping. 50 cents is the fee. This is what I selected, the standard. And then if you read through here, you got to make sure that you follow the rules. And then if it's third party graded, all mine were PSA graded. That's another 50 cents. So it's $1 a card. We talked about that there. Then you can go in here, approximate exactly. I did the exactly. And then it's graded cards. It ended up being 227 cards. Put in whatever you want. And then you come over here and basically tells you, yeah, it's $1 a card. And then I went ahead and packaged it up. I think it weighed 26 pounds for 227 grade cards plus the boxes that I put in, the packaging around it. And then I could have done, it was like $45 to get there in 5 to 7 days. And I paid up to have it there in 2 days. Basically, that I know that would go on a plane from here, from California to Washington. I just feel like this a little safer trip, a little less handling, and that was $50. So I paid an extra $5. And then 220 for $50 divided by 227 items, it's basically like 22 cents a card. So I'm essentially putting another $1.50 into these cards. roughly, and I'm okay with that. They'll be organized on this website if you haven't used it before. And that's all I really have for everyone. It is Sunday night. I have the game 2 recorded. I'm going to sit down and watch that. I need to package up some PSA orders still. Anyways, if you're enjoying my steady stream of content, feel free to give a thumbs up, a like, and definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Catch y'all later.